everyone, welcome to Vlogmas day 3. It is Friday the 3rd of December and today we are going to do some Christmas baking. So I wanted to do some baking today for a couple of reasons. One is that I'm just totally in the mood for some festive baking. Two, I finished work a little earlier on Fridays, meaning I've got more time in the evening to actually enjoy baking and creating something delicious. And third, as I mentioned yesterday, I'm going to see my sister tomorrow and she has just had a baby and I'm so excited to go and see them. And I thought it'd be nice just to take some little treats with me, Christmassy themed, and so that is why we are baking today. Now, yesterday I said that it's the minimal cheap baking, and you probably guessed what I mean by that. And that is, I bake from packets. I'm going to start and talk at the same time, otherwise you're just going to listen to me stand and talk. So, first one I'm going to do is Christmas Pudding Cupcake Kit. Cute. This is by just Create a Cake Christmas. It was from Tesco. Thought it was cute, little Christmas pudding cakes on the front. So, this is what we are going to be doing first. Okay, there we go. So, the reason I use like a box mix is because I don't like to buy a lot of ingredients. I don't bake enough to use up ingredients. You know, even if you buy like the little bags of flour, it just doesn't get used up. And there have been many times in the past where I have bought ingredients to bake and then months later it's all just gone to waste because it didn't get used. Hey, that actually went quite well, surprisingly. I just crushed and destroyed an egg. As you can see, I'm not a baker. As I was saying, so I didn't like the waste that was produced by that. It just made me feel really bad. And at the same time, I'm not the sort of person that goes ahead and bakes unnecessarily. I feel like, you know, I've got to have an occasion that I want to bake for, with, you know, the very rare exception of pancakes, which, again, I rarely make, but do sometimes enjoy as a little breakfast treat every now and then. There was just so much going to waste, and so I just made the decision one day that I was no longer going to bake from scratch, and if I wanted to enjoy a little tasty treat, I would do it the cheat way, which, to be fair, is much quicker, which when you've not got a lot of time, kind of works. So that's why I just decided to go down the whole packet mix route. I can understand that for a lot of people that might just be really ridiculous because it probably takes a lot of the enjoyment out of baking. If you're the sort of person that's like an experimental baker and you like to try new recipes and improve recipes you already have and things like that, that is not me. I'm really more about what you get out after it when you're done. Another thing is I just do not have any fancy baking equipment. I don't have like one of those big KitchenAid sort of mixers. I don't even have a handheld electric whisk. I do everything by hand because I don't see the point in me owning a whole load of baking stuff when I think it's quite evident. I'm not a big baker, don't get me wrong, I love a tasty treat, but I don't bake often enough to warrant me having that sort of stuff. So it's just not something I have. So I guess in a way, I'm also minimal in that respect. You know, I have this glass cooking bowl. It was super duper cheap. It was probably about like £4 from Wilko's. I just use my normal spoons to mix. You know, I had to melt some butter. I just used one of my breakfast bowls. So there is really nothing fancy pants going on here in terms of baking. Although one thing this recipe calls for is a cupcake tin. I do not have a cupcake tin because I don't bake enough. So we're just going to have to use a flat tray and hope for the best. If anything's going to go wrong with this, by the way, with the baking, it will be the icing. I am terrible at icing. I'm not great. You know, when you see people on YouTube and Instagram, they do beautiful baking. I would say even when I try my very hardest, I'm not about the presentation. I would love to be about the presentation. I would love the presentation to be beautiful, but it's not where my strengths lie. But what I have found, even before, you know, I used to cheat and use packet mixes, is whenever I baked anything, it always tasted good. It didn't look great, but it tasted good, and so we all just kind of made our peace with that it was all about the taste. first one was super duper easy. Cake mix, egg, butter, milk, mix. That is my level of baking. I love that, that's great. So, super easy. They are now in the oven. The second one I've got are little gingerbread men, but I have no idea if I've got any sort of cutter, so I really didn't plan this one. I've probably got something somewhere. If not, we will have to improvise when minimalism comes back to get you. So for this one, you just need butter and golden syrup, which I have put into the pan, and then we are going to heat it, melt it together, and then add the mix that is in here, apparently. Ooh, we get little squeezy icing with these. That's cute. I like that. Oh, they also give you a little stencil to cut out, which is quite nice if you don't have a gingerbread cutter. That's very well thought out. Right, before I put that in, I've got to mix this. Oh, that's probably too hot. Turn that right down. Alright. Another thing I like about this cheat method of baking is there is a lot less tidy up, I find. I mean, I'm probably not about to prove my own point because I'm going to roll out gingerbread on my counter. But there is, I feel like there is just less tidy up at the end of it. I've always wanted to make gingerbread and I never have. I've just realised I've never made gingerbread. Again, I think that's something where I'm not certain. I don't feel like I've ever actually looked it up, but I feel like you'd need a lot of ingredients to actually make a decent gingerbread. So this might be just about to do it all for me, which will be quite nice. That smells so good. I am seeing one flaw in this plan of mine. I say one, one of many, is that when you roll out dough of any description, you usually do it on a floured surface. I haven't got any flour. This could be very messy and very sticky. We will see how we go. Whilst that's cooling, I'm going to look for a rolling pin and a cookie cutter. So fast forward a little bit, I actually found a little gingerbread cutter that I didn't know I had. So that was quite cool at the back of a cupboard. I had to give it a little wash, don't know how long it's been back there. So I found a gingerbread cutter. I rolled it out on parchment paper. It was very sticky. So little update, the cupcakes are now out and my gingerbread men, they kind of look like gingerbread aliens, are ready to go in the oven. So they're gonna go in now. The cupcakes are still cooling, so I can't ice them yet. So I will check back in with you when there's actually something worth showing you. So these little guys are going in. I'm gonna have a little bit of a clean up, but in all honesty, there's not that much to do. We've done very well. I finished icing the little cupcakes. I thought I'd jump ahead a little bit. I will show you those in just a second. Now I've got to get my creative flair on and do my little gingerbread men, which do look quite cute considering the sticky situation that was earlier. So I'm going to use their pretty design and try and copy it because I'm not going to be good at the decorating bit, but at least they've given me adorable little pens to use. So that's quite sweet. I have had a little taste of the gingerbread. Does anybody else, when you're working with like a dough, when you've got that little bit left over that isn't big enough to make another gingerbread man or whatever it is you're making, so you just make like a little ball and just put it on the side of the baking tray and just cook it? Yeah, I do that. That's what I did and it was good. They tasted really good. Okay, this is probably not going to go well for me. Okay, this icing is quite stiff. I'm making quite scary looking gingerbread men here. Okay, that will have to do for eyes. Okay, so then it's got little zigzag sleeves. Honestly, my concentration game, just then, mega. Oh, it's got to have little legs as well. Oh, the green is much easier to use. Okay, the red is good too, so it's really just the white that's difficult to use. There we go. He will do for a first one. I'm also going to try and do one like their reindeer design. A couple of them got a little bit frazzled around the edge, but I'm making my peace with that. And there you have my little reindeer too. I'm going to carry on icing these and I will show you everything when I'm done at the end. And there we have it. I think I am all done with my little bit of Christmas baking. It's actually been really enjoyable to do. I've had a good time doing it and I've got some nice tasty treats to take with me tomorrow. So that was brilliant. So this was it. This is what I guess I would call minimal cheat baking because it really speeds up the process, it makes things so much easier, and you don't have ingredients going to waste, which is all the things I'm looking for in baking. I get that it's not a very typical viewpoint of baking, but there you have it. I think we've learned one thing though, and that is that I am not an artist when it comes to decorating a presentation when it comes to baking. So I will leave this one here. I hope you've enjoyed this Vlogmas video, and I will see you for the next one tomorrow. Until then, take care. Bye.